this is going to be a follow-up video of glow proof at the beach. All it took is a photo. There are a few things in the previous video I did not take into account for. However, it still does not detract from the objective of the experiment. For example, this photo was compressed actually 80 times, not 20, as I stated in my previous video. That was my error. But before we begin, I want to give a couple of shout-outs here for people pointing out a few obvious problems with the previous experiment. Okay, for example, Rachie 00000 says, okay, now can you get a straight line and compress that for me, please? My thoughts, it will show a curve because the compression causes straight lines to curve. I could be wrong, but that's my thoughts behind it. Thank you for pointing that out, and we're going to go over a couple things regarding barrel distortion with the camera I used. Barrel distortion is very common in wide-angle cameras and lenses. The field of view is usually 90 degrees or more. Most of the distortion occurs at the bottom quarter and the top quarter of the photo. The middle has very little or no distortion. In the future, I want to do a detailed video on this subject. This photo was taken from a Samsung Galaxy S10. It has a field of view of 90 degrees at 1.8 millimeters. This is the widest angle possible. We will use this photo later on in the video. Okay, this is a photo of the same pole that I used at the beach in the previous video. Okay, this is the photo of the same pole at the top of the frame. Here you can see some major distortion on the right and left side of the photo. This is the widest angle with the field of view of 90 degrees, 1.8 millimeters with the Samsung Galaxy S10. Okay, this is compressed 20 times. As you can see, major distortion. In this close-up, you can actually see the major distortion. About 2/3 of the photo is distorted. However, the middle third is still straight. Keep that in mind. Here's the same pole at the bottom of the frame. Field of view of 90 degrees at 1.8 millimeters at the widest angle. Compressed 20 times. Again, major distortion on the bottom right and left of the photograph. Now the pole is right in the middle. Okay, it's taken at the widest angle and the field of view is still 90 degrees. This is compressed 20 times. There's very little distortion on the edges, and the X marks the actual middle of the photograph. This is compressed 160 times. Little distortion on the right and the left of the photo. This photo had some distortion even in the middle on the right and the left of the pole. The previous experiment had some flaws, and we're going to address that here. It has been determined from 3 different photos of the pole taken on the couch that distortion is the greatest at the top and the bottom of the photo, and also is noticeable in the middle of the photo when compressed. Again, Rachie, thank you very much for pointing out the flaws in the previous video. Thank you. I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to Primonome Ultimonome for another flaw he pointed out. He stated, I have to say this is surprising. I posted some 3D simulations about that. Close to sea level, the curve shouldn't be so noticeable even with horizontal image compression. With that in mind, the issue comes with the field of view. Okay, so we're going to look into that as well. I'm going to use the same photo from the previous experiment, but I'm going to cut 24 degrees of field of view from both sides to eliminate the distortion. This photo has a field of view of 76 degrees. The distorted edge of the photograph has been removed. This field of view simulation has been sent to me by Primonome Ultimonome. This simulates what you see in the horizon 2 meters above sea level looking out at sea when you take a photograph. This program is called POV Ray. This simulation has a 76 degrees field of view. It is the same as the photograph we're going to use. Horizontally, it is compressed at 160 times at simulated 2 meters above sea level. As you can see some definite curvature there when it's compressed. Again, here's the photo we're going to use. This is the same photo. It has a field of view of 76 degrees. It is compressed 160 times. As you notice, the pole is straight and the horizon shows a definite curve. The left part of the pole here seems to kind of curve down a little bit, and I'm going to show you why right here. It is because of the reflections of the umbrellas. You can see a slight blue color on top of the pole right there. Here's a side-by-side comparison with using POV Ray and the actual photo. POV Ray simulates 2 meters above sea level, 76 degrees field of view, and it's compressed 160 times. Now the photo on the right is also compressed 160 times. It has a photo of the horizon with a field of view of 76 degrees and about 2 meters above sea level. The photo on the right does show a gentle curve of the horizon. The bumps are irregularities in the ocean. Could very well be ocean swells. It is not perfect, but both the simulation and the photo are very close. Here's a photo super compressed 1,000 times. Again, a big thank you goes out to Rachie 00000 and Primonome Ultimonome. Thank you very much for pointing out the flaws in my previous video. Again, thank you. Be sure to hit that subscribe button.